Well, it is Friday here with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our friends at Yellowhammer News. And yep, we're back together again, second day in a row in Prattville, Alabama at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Always struck by the selection here. Of course, they've got all of the vehicles in all different sizes. The Jeeps, the Dodge Rams. There's one right out there that has caught my eye, and there are Rams all over the place, and great deals on every one of them here. It's just a short drive up I-65 from Montgomery, really from anywhere. Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram sells more than anybody else in a broad area, John, and there are reasons why they do.
Well, Barry, you know, we've been telling everybody, the largest volume Ram dealer in Northwest Florida and Alabama. Just think about that. It's a large area of land from Tallahassee, Pensacola up to Huntsville. Largest volume Ram dealer. Well, how about this? Number one CDJR dealer in Alabama. There are a lot of Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealers in the state. Stivers here in Prattville's number one, and they're offering the Freedom of Choice pricing program only at number one Stivers, offering below employee pricing. You're hearing a lot about employee pricing these days, Barry. Beat the tariffs are what they're calling it. Well, I can tell you, Stivers is beating the tariffs here at Stivers CDJR in Prattville.
We got a lot to tell you about them throughout the day, but make it out here if you get the chance. Terrific salespeople here. They'll be glad to help you. The finance department guy, I wish the guy who's in charge of finance was in charge of academics whenever I was in college. Because
there's some negotiation.
There were some times when I was this close to the grade I wanted. And where I went to school at Florida and at Auburn, this close was never that. John is kind of like your man, you know? Come on, they only missed by a half a point. Can you give me some slack here? And the moment the Earth stops rotating is the moment John's man or anybody's local man says, "All right, okay, I'll do that." Here, the finance guy and the finance people. There's more than one because they deal with such volume. The finance department here, I might have been able to get that A that I wanted. And John might have been able to get that half a point that he just missed that with because they will work with
Barry, you don't need a shiny new red apple. You don't need that.
Because, you don't need to clap erasers here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
They're going to work with you, Barry. And, of course, they've got the Ram lineup here for you. The largest volume Ram dealers I mentioned in Northwest Florida and Alabama. Ram 1500 Laramie packages up to $17,000 off plus 3.9% APR for 72 months. Need something a little bigger, the 25 and 3500 models, the diesel engines, up to $14,000 off. Great deals on the Jeep lineup as well. We're going to tell you about it all morning long. But hey, when you're the number one CDJR dealer in the state, there's a reason, because people are happy, satisfied with their vehicle purchase here at Stivers. You will be too. Come by and see us here in Prattville throughout the weekend.
It's right on Cobbs Ford Road, really conveniently located right on the main drag in Prattville, Alabama, the preferred community. And we're right in here in the showroom. Who knew? Who knew? We have known for years, probably before a lot of other people realized it, the National Football League is a quarterback league. Used to be you get you a running back, you get you a Larry Zonka, you get you an Earl Campbell, you get you one of those guys, and then you're going to be pretty good. Until they started messing around with the rules about what you can do on defense or what you can't do and what the wide receivers can do, and change the shape of the football a little bit. And it became a passing league, which is what the people want. Give the fans what they want. Which means that it became a quarterback league where a quarterback was everything. And so many of the mock drafts leading into last night's first round of the NFL draft had 6 quarterbacks projected to be taken in the first round.
Keyword, projected.
Projected. Guess how many they were? there was a quarterback taken at number 1, and there was a quarterback taken up at number 25.
And that one surprised me.
That was it.
Number 25 surprised me a little bit, Barry. He went quicker than I thought. We're talking about Jackson Dart. Heard a lot about Jackson Dart over the last couple of weeks. Has he won against big-time opposition? Is he a project? Obviously, somebody liked him because he was the second quarterback taken last night.
And there were only 2 taken. Cam Ward went first to the Tennessee Titans. Not a big surprise. And then Jackson Dart, 25th to the Giants. The pick traded from Houston. And that was it for quarterbacks. You didn't. 2 of the most divisive projections at quarterback, Shedeur Sanders from Colorado and Jalen Milroe from Alabama.
Yeah.
Didn't get a sniff in the first round.
Be interesting to see what happens.
Which is surprising to me about Sanders because, I've only ever watched him play about 4 times in his entire career and didn't love him, but I had read so much about him, mostly from Dion, and Shedeur did this, and Shedeur got his number retired at Colorado after going 11-10 as a starter at quarterback. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm wrong. I say this sometimes around John. I'll go with a little foreigner living. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
Can't you tell me if I'm coming on too strong?
He's cold as ice, Barry. I think that's why the NFL shied away from him.
Yeah, because
it didn't feel like the first time.
No, it was
urgent.
He got some run time last night.
That's the only foreigner songs I can think of.
That just off the top of your head.
Top of my head.
Yeah.
They don't want to know what love is.
All right, that's well, they're all major stretches, but Dion's there, and you see him, and you got Shedeur there, and you should see him, and after a little while, it got to feel kind of bad.
Well, and I think
Shedeur's over there, he's posturing, he's all that kind of stuff, and by the end of the draft, by pick 29, 30, he's going. Oh.
Brett McMurphy says first player in college football to have in college football history to have his number retired and not be selected 5 days later in the NFL's first round of the draft. Yeah, that is a label.
Yeah, and then you're right, Getty. Sanders is hot-blooded right now.
Yeah, he
is.
Check it and see. Yeah. But and I think, Barry, this is a good point. Kevin says not a good quarterback class. I would tend to agree with that.
We made that point before.
Pure quarterbacks. I'm not sure Cam Ward is a pure quarterback. Might develop into one, a pure NFL type quarterback. And I thought about this last night as the Titans were on the clock.
Right.
Been hearing it for a couple of weeks. This isn't the greatest quarterback class, but next year's is going to be pretty good.
Really good.
Would it have been wise for the Titans to trade that number 1 pick, get a lot of other picks that they need to build their franchise? I don't want to say tank it in 2025 and be in a position to get the real quarterback they need next year. Thought about that. I'm kind of crazy, mad scientist a little bit. A lot of things would have to fall into place, but I kind of wonder, do you really want Cam Ward? Is he the future?
I think that played into Jalen Milroe's decision to come out early.
Yeah.
It's not going to necessarily help him a whole lot because he didn't get drafted in the first round, won't get first round money, but he'll get drafted higher than he would have gotten drafted next year when Arch Manning is out, Iamaleava is out, Drew Aller, Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik is out, some of those guys, than it was this year when it's just basically Cam Ward, Dart, Shedeur Sanders, Milroe, and maybe 1 or 2 other guys. I like the pick for them. I mean, if you like the kid, grab him while you can. The Jacksonville Jaguars had to make that type of a decision. What you're talking about with the second, to trade up to get the second pick. I'm not going to bore you to death. But they get the The Browns received the 10th pick of the first round, a conditional pick in the 4th round, and the Jaguars get
first
second
round pick next year, I think.
something like that. But they, all the trade thing there. The Jaguars had a guy they really, really, really wanted, and did they overtrade? Did they overpay? To get Travis Hunter, I don't think so, because he'll play snaps on defense. He'll play a lot of snaps on offense. He'll sell some tickets, maybe a difference maker in special teams or something like that. But if you like him,
here's what they were saying.
Pussyfoot around.
Yeah, I like that. Here's what they were saying, and I had to go back and forth, and I settled on. Yeah, I was busy last night, Barry. I mean, I got Jesse Waters, the NBA, and the draft. Woo, man, I'm wearing the remote out. But I stumbled, and I like the college guys. More than the NFL guys, because I think the college guys were on ABC, ESPN had the NFL guys. So I got to hear Saban and Herb Street and what those guys had to say, and it all centered on the best player available. I think a lot of teams last night were just picking the best player available more than need so much. And I think with Travis Hunter, is he there to sell tickets? People in Jacksonville are going to go, man, I got to go see this guy. I mean, Heisman winner, plays both ways, everything like that, yada, yada. And they were talking last night about how he could play both ways in the NFL.
He wants to.
And, Barry, I thought of Danny White. That's who I was thinking about. You go, Danny White.
Danny White?
I mean, that's like 30 years ago. Dallas Cowboys. And
try 40.
40 years. It has been 40, hasn't it? I don't remember. Was he 14?
He was number 11.
Number 11. I was close.
Quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys and
punter. So he took up 2 spots on a 53-man roster. I've always thought that was really cool. Why don't more NFL teams do that? When you
Tom Tupa.
You got 53 players. Do you really need a punter?
Well, that's what a lot of people think in college whenever you burn a scholarship on a punter.
Go to the intramural fields. You can find some kid that can boot
especially, when you're rugby styling it the whole time anyway. Heck, I could do that.
So I like that move. Guy can play multiple positions, frees up a roster spot. I think that's smart. I don't know what Jacksonville's needs were, so to speak.
I had a few.
But I don't think you can pass up on that guy.
Now,
does it help Trevor Lawrence?
It's bound to help him. Would an extra offensive lineman or two have helped? They'll get those, but I like the pick. I like the fact that they just went for it.
Yeah.
This is the guy they want. Cleveland, this is what we're going to do for you. Now, I'm like John. I was out and around a little bit. I watched my wife and I watched about an hour of the draft, the very beginning.
I think my wife might watch more of it than I did, now that I think about it.
Here's my suggestions. Programming consultant McKnight here.
All right.
Lose the interviews with the mamas and daddies.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. This does 3 bad things, in my opinion. It gives the opportunity for some mama, like Travis Hunter's mama, hey, y'all, we're going to come down. We're going to be lit. And, she's doing the dance. And I'm thinking, let's have some decorum here. That doesn't need to happen. Number 2.
How about Lil Wayne? He was there last night, opening up the draft with Commissioner Roger Goodell on the bicycle.
Number 2, get rid of that stuff.
I like
Get rid of all that. I can't imagine, even now when I was expecting it, all those people out there. And I get it. They let him in. You have like my Jaguars fans. They're in there. With the Jaguar stuff and the Duval and the grill and the rings across the front. I get it. I don't love it. That's okay. But why on God's green earth, in the first round of the draft, every time somebody got drafted, Saban would say, oh, we were plan B at Alabama, or we really wanted him at Alabama, and we thought we had him at Alabama, and, we played him at Alabama. And I get it. I don't know how much money that saved Greg Byrne from having to plead with people to give him money for the athletic department at Alabama, but it sure saved him a whole lot of media buying there, because everybody. LSU. I mean, who was it? Who was it that got the LSU lineman?
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell. Yeah, he went to the Patriots. Yeah, fourth pick.
Yep.
With the fourth pick of the 2025, get rid of that too. Just say,
how about the little sound effect?
That got old. With the fourth pick of the 20, yeah, we know it's the 2025 NFL draft. I know you're doing it just for posterity, so the programs, so the franchises and the college programs can put it on their social media, but we know it's the 2025 NFL draft. With the fourth pick of the 2025 NFL draft, the New England Patriots select offensive tackle Will Campbell, LSU. Immediately, ESPN, boom. They go to film about Campbell, and Saban says, I just want to tell everybody we were his plan B.
Yeah.
We were his plan B. Every time he kept going to LSU for camps, we were on him trying to recruit him. Every pick, it felt like. You know, we were in on him. We tried to recruit him. We tried to recruit Travis Hunter when we were at Alabama. Okay.
Marketing 101. Get your name out there as much as
Alabama.
you can. Yeah.
Oh,
loved it.
My gosh.
Yeah. Nick's still very loyal to his former. Is his former employee? I think they're still paying him as a consultant.
Wait a minute. I'm sure that if there is a college program in the SEC that is still paying an ex-coach, my co-host would have pounded that topic over and over and over again about the injustice of it all. So I can't imagine that Saban is still getting paid.
Yeah, they were different.
And for the next couple of minutes, John Longshore has the floor to explain why, Mary, this is really a different circumstance than Auburn paying Pat Dye.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the floor.
They had to run Dye because he got him on probation. Of course, that didn't happen to Saban. So he's welcome to make more money and hang around. So I can leave it at that. Back to the crowd.
Okay, yeah.
I thought I was watching Live Aid. I mean, I've never seen as many people. I'm thinking, this guy like right there, dead in the middle. Here's the stage. Here's the back. There's probably 50,000 people in front, 50 behind him. How's he going to get out of here? If he's got a prostate issue and got to go to the bathroom like Shaq, how does he get out of here? I can't believe that many people stood there.
Enough? Are
there
enough porta potties?
I wondered, but you mentioned the crowd. I'm thinking, I don't think I'm sitting there for standing there. What do you mean sitting? Standing there for 3-4 hours waiting for people's names to be called. I mean, you drink a beer and then where do you go to get another one? I thought was amazing how many people were there.
And you got the drone way over Lambeau Field showing everybody. I'm not like John. I'm not looking, man, what's the guy in the middle doing? I'm looking at the people, 700 yards away, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Why are you there? You flying or driving all the way to Green Bay, Wisconsin, which ain't easy to get to, so you can stand 700 yards away with everybody else. And
so, Barry, these Jag fans, whatever fan, Bronco fan, Cardinal fan, do they get there on their own, or does the NFL get them there to make it look good?
Well,
I mean, really? I mean, I know there's some hard-nosed NFL fans, and I'm thinking, are you really driving to Green Bay to stay there on a Thursday night to watch the draft? I guess maybe they do.
There's a lot of issues with it, with the coverage and all that kind of stuff we'll get to. Who won the draft so far? First round. Will Milroe get picked in the second round? Why did Jahad Campbell drop like he did? Is that to be expected? We've got a lot to get to.
And Theotis, I think Laura Rutledge's haircut looks good on her. She's cut her hair.
Yes.
Looks good. I noticed that last night.
Yeah.
She looks good. Now, it had a red dress. Well, it was kind of a pants kind of thing.
It was on a dress.
Looked pretty good. Yep, we got a lot going on here. We're at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road, where Price sells cars. A lot going on today here on the show. Going to talk about the draft, look ahead to today. Of course, we've got some NBA playoff action, some Major League Baseball. Braves on the road again.
Yeah,
they can't stay at home. It's unbelievable. And Barry, the transfer portal ends today. Will there be any shockers?
Well, there's a couple of things about the transfer portal we'll flesh out a little bit later on. The ability to enter the transfer portal ends today. You can still sign out of the portal. Everybody doesn't have to sign everybody by the end of the day. You just have to be in by the end of the day. We are in the showroom at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama, with our Friday show. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Full Budweiser flavor. A refreshing alcohol-free brew that tastes like the real thing. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Okay, back at it here, 22 minutes past the hour on this Friday. Longshore and McKnight in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News, yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. Also on Facebook and YouTube, X, Instagram, Spotify. So many ways to check us out. Make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. No, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. You just get notifications when content drops, so you won't miss a thing. So hit that subscription button. We'd really appreciate it.
It also helps us out as well. Full disclosure out there. The picks that I really liked in the draft, obviously I like the Jags going for it. I mean, you know, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter in the second. Wasn't that Lacey Underall? Go for it.
It was. Sure was.
Travis Hunter and
Tired
Dan
of being
Noonan
a golf club.
Yes. Travis Hunter, second round. Jaguars really like that. Ashton Genty to the Raiders with the 6th pick. I like that quite a bit as well. The first pick from Alabama was Tyler Booker. He goes in the 12th pick to the Cowboys, who always seem to like those offensive linemen. I like that a lot. Don't love the Chargers pick with Omarion Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina, because I want Troy running back Kamani Vidal to get the job there. Jackson Dart, 25th to the Giants. Is there anything about Jackson Dart that will prove that he's not a Daniel Jones?
Well, I've heard some talk about that. You know, there was a little uncertainty with Jackson Dart from some of these, you know, draftniks out there that follow this type stuff. As I said earlier, I was a little surprised he went as high as he did, the second quarterback taken.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not fair, but what does that say about Jalen Milroe? If Jackson Dart's not thought of as highly, but obviously some team thinks he's very good. What does that say about Milroe? And I certainly expect Barry Shedeur Sanders to go before Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, and Milroe may go in the second round, but I wouldn't, put my entire life savings on it.
I get the sense with Milroe Berry that maybe there's a team or two out there looking around, a little interested in him, but they're kind of waiting for him, for him to fall in their lap. Actually, man, if he's there when we get back around to it, we might take him. Pittsburgh, Saints, possibly.
Pittsburgh is the one I'm thinking of. The Pittsburgh Steelers didn't go with him in the draft.
And there's a lot of talk, Barry, about when it comes back around for like the Saints. The Saints took a lineman last night in their first pick. And the talk is they think they can come back around in the second round and maybe get Shador in the second round. They're the 8th pick in the second round. They're the 40th pick overall. They've already picked in the first round. I believe he was an offensive lineman from, was it Georgia? Defensive lineman from Georgia that the Saints picked their first pick at 9.
I had it literally right there. The 9 pick, Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Georgia who got hurt late in the year. But I think a very solid pick. That was another one I had on my list. I think
Saban said Alabama was his B plan too.
Yeah. Pretty much everybody.
But they did. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I was listening to the NFL guys at that time. They were raving about this kid from Texas.
Oh yeah,
just how dominant he was on the line of scrimmage for him. So I see them picking a player like him, and is Shador there in the 8th pick today in the second round.
All of these things are cyclical in the draft, just like in life. Last year, you'll remember, out of the top 12 picks last year, 6 of them were quarterbacks, and a couple of them paid dividends early on. Mostly, Jalen Daniels for the Commanders. This year, 7 of the first 12 were linemen, 4 offensive linemen, 3 defensive linemen, which makes sense. It really does, especially tackles, especially guys like Kelvin Banks. First order of business, I think, always when you're drafting linemen, get a left tackle. Number 2, get a rush defensive end. That also speaks to the lack of, blazing talent at quarterback in the draft this year as opposed to last year. But also, look, these teams, these NFL franchises don't just pick blindly. Oh, we want this guy, we want this guy, we want this guy. They're looking around to see, they've got guys in their draft office, and it's a big office, that are projecting what everybody else is going to do. Golly, we'd love to get Shador Sanders, but we don't want to use our first pick on him. Well, if you use the pick for that guy, we've got it figured that, the Browns will pick this guy, the Broncos will pick that guy, and then Shador probably will be available in the second round. They're not blindly sitting there the whole draft with their fingers crossed saying, boy, I hope Sanders is available. They have projections and all that kind of stuff as well. So that means 2 things. Number 1, they really have to get a good read on what each one of the other teams is likely to do. And number 2, they have to be pretty doggone sure about their guy, because even a second round pick for the Saints to get a Shador Sanders is still a pretty good risk.
Well, it is, and they've got Shador's the 8th best player available going into the second round, and the Saints just happen to have the 8th pick today. So I find that interesting there as well. I'm scanning, Barry. I don't see Jalen Milroe's name here.
Oh, goodness.
At least not in the first 25.
ESPN. He may not get picked in the second round. Quinshawn Judkins, for Pike Road.
Yeah,
really rooting for him.
So it'll be not as much hype today in the draft. Wow, he's not even in the second page as well. I got to keep scrolling.
Hang on.
Let me ask you this question.
There he
is, number 49. 49.
Sounds like Auburn's recruiting rankings under Harsin.
Ooh.
Just to give you some perspective.
Man, ouch.
It just came right off the top.
That did come right off the top of your head. 49th best player still available. Barry, does winning your bowl game boost your draft status? Because I didn't think Michigan was supposed to be any good this year. they're talking about a lot of their players,
Yeah.
and some of them have already gone in the first round.
Yeah, they have some talent. What they didn't have last year was anybody who could throw the football. They got this kid, this 5-star kid named Bryce Underwood. A lot of it's because of NIL. They've got an alumnus, a billionaire, who's spending whatever it takes. But a lot of it is the fact that they think they're telling this kid, hey, man, if you see us throw the ball last year, did you see our passing game? Did you see our quarterbacks last year? I'm telling you, you can come in and start for us this year. But they did have other guys. They did have other dudes out there, some really good guys. He's one of the best available players. Michigan cornerback Will Johnson, to John's point. Also, Marshall edge rusher Mike Green. I know it's Marshall. I've got a chance to see this guy. This kid is great. This kid, I would pick him ASAP.
Yeah, second player today, they say.
He's big time. So I'll watch it maybe a little bit more today. Well, actually, now think about it, I can't because I got a baseball game tonight. But I would watch some of it and track it just to keep an eye on what the Jags are going to do. What else?
When's their next pick? Whoa.
It's a little while because they've
Yeah, I think, see, that's why Cleveland, I see a Cleveland helmet popping up a lot. Cleveland's got the first pick in the second round. They got the fourth pick, second, third, fifth pick.
Holy smokes, where are the Jags?
Yeah, so they
Jags don't have a second round pick.
Ooh. Yeah, so the Browns have the first pick today
and the
fourth.
Third. Oh, yeah, the fourth. You're right. The fourth pick. The Bears have 2 picks in the first half of the second round. Second round's important.
Does Cleveland, Houston, Titans, or the Raiders, or the Patriots, I'm looking at all these teams that are ahead of the Saints and the Bears, do any of those need a quarterback? Trying to think. I think they've all
they drafted them last year.
Yeah.
Or maybe the
Titans
I think the Browns do. Joe Flacco ain't the answer. But
I would, with the Browns having 2 picks, the first two of the first 4 picks, could they go after a guy like Shador? That seems like something that the Browns would do. That's a Brown kind of thing, I would say.
What does that mean? Gunners don't take him.
They just, Brown's got to draft better. And it's time for a uniform change too. I'm going all out on the Browns. We got to have something different.
How about numbers on the sides of the helmet? That was a joke.
I don't know. Just give me something. Don't they wear white helmets every now and then? They switch something around and throw a little white mix.
They do
in there.
No, that's not.
Just something new. I don't know. I'd be in favor of it.
We're midway through the first hour of our program. Longshore and McKnight live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Unlike yesterday, we don't have a big American flag behind us, but there is one here.
There certainly is, Barry. It's a great American company here.
Oh, yeah.
It's Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, the #1 CDJR dealer in the state of Alabama. Freedom of choice pricing program underway only at #1 Stivers, offering below employee pricing. Great deals on the Jeep lineup. The Jeep Compass starting at $22,999, over $7,300 off. The Jeep Wrangler, or a Jeep Sierra, up to $14,000 off. Jeep Grand Cherokee, up to $17,000 off for 0% for 72 months. So many great deals. We're going to be telling you about them all day long. It's getting towards the end of the month too, Barry. You know, we like to tell our viewers and our listeners, Advantage Car Buyer towards the end of the month. And as Barry was talking about, you might not get that extra point from that teacher, but I think you got a chance to get a lot of points in your favor here towards the end of the month at Chrysler, at Stivers CDJR in Prattville.
We are live here in Prattville, Alabama, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating. for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Okay, the dynamic duo back. How about that, man? We're aging ourselves. That was the original Batman on TV.
And Robin. Which
Yeah.
one is Robin?
Yeah, the Ward. He was a Ward of
Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson. Yes. What is a Ward? Is that like an
I
orphan?
mean, like he didn't adopt him,
Yeah.
but he's in charge.
In charge of
you
it.
know.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, we're here live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. NFL Draft Round 1 completed last night. Gion Campbell, the former Alabama player, was thought to be going before Tyler Booker.
He was projected to go 11th.
And Gion, of course, did end up going to Philadelphia in round 1. So another Alabama player there for the Eagles. I love the breakdowns from the ESPN guys. You know, I got to laugh. Mel Kiper, who has been around since the draft started back in 1979 or 80, being broadcast on ESPN. I mean, he was just dead set convinced that when the Saints came up with their first pick, they were going to take Shedeur Sanders. And he's rambling on and on and on about it. And, of course, they don't pick him. And I'm thinking, okay, I want to hear from Mel. And they start talking about some other stuff. And they finally get to Mel. And he's somewhat complimentary of the young man that the Saints did end up taking, the lineman from Texas. But I'm over Mel Kiper. Where's Todd McShay?
Here's what you've got, and this is the truth. I respect Mel Kiper. He's one of those people who has really built the draft into what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all know the story. Geeky kid in the suburbs, lived in a room above his parents' garage or something like that, or he had an office above a garage. And all he ever did, Robbie from Greenville, was mail people his draft projections, like the Washington newspapers, like, people all around, trying to get people to subscribe to him, and we'll tell you who you should be drafting. I mean, he was geeked out on that stuff. He'd project everybody, and he'd write these things, and he'd send them off trying to make some money, and never did happen until it finally, boom, worked out for him. ESPN hired him, draft guy and everything like that. Still does it, the old-fashioned way and everything, calls people, does all that. But it has passed him by. And here's the reason why. Because now, in the past, you had 2 or 3 guys, your offensive line coach, your general manager, your head coach, and some other guy that they had in the front office who, was handling hotel reservations or something for travel. And they'd get together and say, I'm getting tired of Biff over there at left guard. Guy's putting on some weight. He's got wife problems, brings it to the office. He's getting pretty heavy for left guard. I mean, he's weighing about 250 now, and whew, that's way too much. And what do you say we just tell Biff to hit the road and we draft somebody else? All right, who we draft? Well, there's this kid from Southwest Texas. My uncle knows him, and that's the way it used to be. Now you've got draft offices. That's all they do. And I mean, you're talking about 15 people. They're going out, they're measuring people, they're watching film. They're the ones who are calling the coaches and saying, what kind of habits does he have? Is he lazy? Does he like the booger sugar? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they will find out now. Mel Kiper used to know, height, weight, draft, 40 time, bench press. These guys know, whether he goes to church regularly, is he a good student in the classroom? Does he even show up in the classroom? This and that. So the information that Mel Kiper gathers is a fraction of what these teams are using to make their decisions.
A couple of things that I picked up on, more than a few, but two that hit me in the face right now. Our man Chris the Bammer mentioned one. Is Mel up for a toupee? What about Saban? I don't know about a toupee, but man, Saban's hairdresser, a little dark last night. I mean, there's no way Saban's hair is that. I mean, I know he dyes it, colors it, but man, a little bit too much color last night. He's got something working to thicken it up top.
It's not the spray like you used to get from
Ronco. Yeah.
But he's about to be a billionaire, right?
That's what we hear.
Get the best guy or girl, get the best. There's so many of that stuff that's out there that I just don't understand. Some people who have so much money, and yet, they don't look like they give much of.
It's the sides.
Get one guy.
The sides are too dark.
Get one guy or girl, pay them whatever, the top line hairdressers get. If they have to go to CVS to go to the Clairol counter over on the right as you walk in, have them get the same bottle every time.
Yeah.
Don't try out with Midnight Sandstorm. Don't go with Raven Nights or something like that. Just get that one.
Sure.
And just tell your guy, all right,
I think
Miss Terry says this is good. Don't buy anything else.
I think there's a product called Touch of Gray, not to be confused with the Grateful Dead song.
Great.
But there you go. The key, touch of gray, not get rid of all the gray. It's just a little too dark. So I noticed that. Number 2.
Girls this way.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a traditionalist. And John has always mentioned something about curtains and
collars and cuffs.
Collars and cuffs.
Yeah.
I kind of like it for girls when your eyebrows are the same color as your hair.
I understand that, Barry. Yes, I know.
The
exactly
girls
what you're
like Lady
about.
Gaga and stuff. What is it? Black eyebrows.
That's a
peroxide blonde hair.
How should I put it? That's a telltale.
You remind me of Millhouse.
Yeah, that's a telltale sign. The eyebrows are. That's a telltale sign. Yeah.
Anyway, so Saban, needs to just spend the money.
Yes.
Or you can do like Bob Barker.
You can't
let it go gray all at once. Show up in the fall after a couple of months off.
Not to tell on my mother, because she tell you right to your face. My mother calls it jump back.
Jump back?
She goes, I got to go get a little jump back on my hair. Now she doesn't, dye it like, 30 years. She's 92 years old. So she says, it's time for some jump back. So my sister will take her up to the beauty parlor and they'll put a little jump back.
Jump back.
That's what
Is that a brand?
No, I just think that's what she refers to it as. Jump back.
They used to. I've never heard that word except for anything other than kiss myself.
Jump back. Yeah. So All right, number 2.
There's a song they tell me, by Gunna, Gunna, and his mentor, Young Thug. Gunna and Young Thug have a song. Is it a song or just a called Jump Back?
Jump Back. Well, I don't know if my mother knows that song, but she knows when it's time for some jump back on her hair. Number 2, I mentioned a wide receiver, I believe it was, from Arizona. Heard one of these draft guys talking about him, that he just did not have a good pre-draft interview process, workouts, combines, whatever. And seemed to be because maybe he thought he was better than he really was, or he had maybe a little attitude, or whatever it was. Well, I heard some conversation about this again yesterday, and it went back to the NIL and what some of these players are making or have made playing college football. And then they're going into this interview process or this workout routine, and they might not be giving it their all, or they might just not be coming across in a professional manner like you should do if you're going to a job interview. You know, we were always told, arrive early, be clean shaven, wear a nice dark suit.
That's right.
Things like that.
Maybe just as a preventative cautionary measure, 2 Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
Not just one, a couple of Tic Tacs.
And, just
sit up straight.
Sure.
Yep.
These, I don't know how many, I don't want to say a lot, but a number of have kind of gone into these interviews with these assistant coaches of these NFL teams, because they do that. The position coach will interview you, things like that. And there's been some attitude issues. And some people have come to the conclusion that these college kids have made more money than the assistant coaches do in the NFL. So they're sitting there in a room going, wait a minute, what am I doing here? I make more money than you do. You're trying to tell me this. You're trying to tell me you're going to play me in this form or fashion or in this way. I wondered about that, Barry, when the NIL, we started hearing some of these high 6- and 7-figure deals. How do these players on college campuses react to their assistant coaches that don't make that much money? How do the assistant coaches react to the players? And now I'm hearing the same things happening in the NFL. I don't care how much money these kids have been making. You still have got to be professional, courteous, interested, and not arrogant to a position coach just because you make more money than them.
A couple of thoughts about that. Your first contract, if you play it right, won't be your only contract. Your overall long-term earnings in the NFL are not dictated by the first contract you get. It is a not for long league. If you have made more money than the assistant coach in college, I get it, but that ain't the be all end all. You're looking to make millions more in the NFL, tens of millions more in the NFL. If your idea of success, as you gauge it in your mind, is that I'm making more than this assistant coach is, why do I have to listen to him? Fellas, I got to tell you, this guy holds your future in his hand.
Can I tell you?
I would treat him with respect, because he will have a lot to do with your future earnings, not what you've earned in the past.
I can tell you a little story, a life lesson for our younger viewers and listeners. One of the first job interviews I went on out of college, I can still see it today. I can see the person that was interviewing me. There was a particular position that I wanted, but they wanted me to start out somewhere else and kind of work my way up to that position.
Right.
And as we were wrapping up, I remember making the statement, and I can still remember saying it. I didn't go to college to do that. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. But as I got a little wiser and older, like a week later, When I did not hear from them one way or the other, I knew from that moment on, that was a death nail. And I'm some cocky out of college kid thinking, I ain't doing that. I want to do this. And I think back of if I would have handled it better and been a little more, not a little, been humble and mature and said, certainly, I'll start tomorrow.
Right.
Where I would be today in that profession. Might have still been in it, who knows. But you can't make stupid statements like that. And I did it. And I still remember, I can remember sitting in that office. I can remember looking at the guy. And of course, when it came out of my mouth, I went, that's how I feel. And I dreaded it because when I didn't hear from him, then I started begging and pleading. Oh, I'll do it.
Yeah,
it was too late.
Well, my favorite story of that time was, and Getty, he says, they said Shedeur Sanders interviewed really poorly. I would think it was something like that because he's got NIL money, he's got KFC money, he's got all this kind of money coming in. He can sit back. Plus, this is my story, Shedeur learned about these type of things from the very best. My favorite Deion Sanders story. He had some leverage when he came out of Florida State.
Yeah.
No, everybody would lowball this. Do you know how many years Deion played in Major League Baseball? People would say, 3.
He led the
5.
league in triples at one time. I know
That's
that.
obligatory to get that out. Anytime I bring up Deion in baseball, John brings that up. Deion played 9 years in Major League Baseball.
I would have guessed 3.
Yeah, he played 9 years. He was good. Well, he knew from the start that he was going to be a top pick, not the top, but a top pick in the NFL draft. Deion was at the scouting combine, and he had a meeting scheduled with the New York Giants before the draft. Giants were interested in drafting Deion Sanders.
Okay.
They met him at the combine. Deion tells the story. He says, they sat me down and gave me a thick book in the meeting. He said, this thing was thicker than a phone book. I said, what's this? And they said, this is the test we give all of our players. I said, excuse me, what pick do you have in the draft? And they said, the 18th. And he said, I'll be gone long before then. I'll see y'all later. I ain't got time for this. Deion says, that is a true story. Walked out.
I get it.
You expect me to fill out a test this big?
Yeah, come on.
I ain't going to be around when you guys pick. This is a waste of my time.
When was he picked? Does it say that in the article? I'm trying to remember.
He got picked by the Falcons.
Yeah.
It was first round.
Yep.
But yeah, he was a Falcons pick.
I remember running punts back at Fulton County Stadium.
That was back in the neon Deion.
All right, so how about
days.
this?
He says nowadays, if he had known, a little bit more about what was going on, he would have asked for so much money, they would have had to put me on layaway.
See, the greatest two-sport star of our era can do stuff like that, Barry.
Yeah.
Here's the deal about Shedeur. Another little nugget I picked up on. I had a lot going on last night. NBA, Fox News, NFL draft. I needed like a bank of TVs last night.
Full plate.
Shedeur, Barry, from what I was told last night, or what I heard, has only played for one head coach his entire career as a YMCA, a Pop Warner player, all the way through college.
Yeah, he played high school football in Texas. At some private, there's so many of these private academies like Success Unlimited Academy or Love Unlimited. No, that was Barry White. Those kinds of things. And he played in one of those academies that his dad was a head coach at.
Yeah.
He did play at FAU very briefly. I want to think it was for Willie Taggart, who was a Deion guy. And then he transferred to Jackson State for Deion. And then he, of course, played at Colorado for Deion. So I think it was maybe 1 year, but it was a lot with Deion.
So I think their point was, in terms of interviewing taking instructions from other coaches, whatever it may be. He's never had to experience that. So how is that going to go over? And I think maybe that's one of the reasons he wasn't picked in the first round. But, I think there's certain athletes out there, Barry. I think of Randy Moss.
Yeah.
The guy was an incredible athlete. He probably wasn't the best interview, maybe came across a little cocky, but teams took a chance on him. And the guy had a great career. There's some players like that. I would have thought Shedeur Sanders would have been a player like that and would have gone in the first round.
Randy had some baggage, had some baggies.
Yeah,
that was part of the reason why he did. There were some questions about him, but his work ethic was great. And here's another thing, and I'm thinking about Buck Johnson when I say this. You've also, when you're signing somebody to play college, or you're signing somebody in the NFL where they take everything into account.
Yeah.
You are also signing the parents. The
well,
mama
you are.
And the daddy, and whoever picks Shedeur, they know that they are also picking Dion and all the part and parcel that goes along with having Dion's son as your quarterback.
In the NFL draft, the team picks you, obviously. In college basketball, the player picks the team. And when Buck Johnson picked Alabama, they didn't realize there was a hot mic open in the kitchen when his mother went,
She was not happy with
Buck's pick because she thought he was going to UAB. I think Gene Bartow did too.
Yeah.
But that's for our older audience. They remember that when that happened.
So did Wachovia Bank, or what was the name of that bank? Yeah, they thought he was going there too. Can you put stop payment? Thank you. Yeah,
that's a great story.
That is a good one.
That's a good. Hey, Dennis Mitchell is in. He's early today.
Appreciate it.
I don't know if Robbie from Greenville with his draft recap, looking to hear what he's got to say today as well. Get in on our River Region Straw chat line. A lot of people getting in on that. We really appreciate it. A lot of people communicating with one another, Barry.
Yeah, we like that, the community aspect of it all. Dennis asked a pretty good question.
All right, let's hear it.
John, was it in Montgomery for your job interview after college? John has no more comment. That was just a story.
Oh, I'll tell you. It was in Atlanta.
Okay.
It was in Atlanta. I mean, if you want to know more about it, I'll have no. When we come back from the break, I'll tell you all about it. I'm trying, Barry, to give people life lessons to not make some of the mistakes that I made through the years.
It's just
I got a lot more mistakes I'm going to make, I hope, between now and then. I don't hope I make mistakes. I just know I am.
Yeah. But just hope they're small ones.
Learn from this one.
Let's take a break. We are live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Or maybe not.
Here we are at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Our friend, everybody's friend, Mary Ann is with us. Mary Ann, April is a special month, even more special at Marguerite's.
Definitely. Okay, so it's the first of the month, Barry. What's that birthstone?
It's a diamond, right?
Yes. Winner. It's easy to remember because with April comes baseball season, baseball diamond. We've got diamond month here at Marguerite's, and it is a great time. We are having diamond month to really emphasize all the great diamonds we have in stock. We're doing crazy specials on natural as well as lab created diamonds with solitaire specials, starting out at, this is crazy to believe, $500 for a lab created diamond solitaire. That's insane. Like a 1 carat inner ring. We have diamond studs, diamond tennis necklaces, tennis bracelets. Everything with our diamonds are going to be unmatched, unparalleled prices. And loose stones, again, maybe because it is baseball season and you're watching all of those games that you need to give a little extra something, or that girlfriend that you've been dating for a while needs to get an engagement ring. Well, now is definitely the time to do it because our loose diamonds are on special.
Yeah, if you are thinking about an engagement, here's a pro tip. That may be Marianne's favorite thing to do at Marguerite's is to help the guys make sure their odds are good with a beautiful diamond for that loved one that they're going to pop the question to, right?
Most definitely. It's great to help. We love helping you. The hardest thing you have to do is walk through the door. Next thing, I mean, honestly, you just say, I need to get engaged. Or between the two of us or the rest of these listeners, I can tell when a guy walks through. They kind of just have that look and they're just walking slow and looking around. And I'm like, need an engagement ring? And they just shake their head. I take it from there. Just get some ideas. White gold, yellow gold, diamonds. We have them. Guys, it's not hard. Honestly, just walk through the door. We can help you.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. They have people who would love to help, especially in Diamond Month in April in Marguerite. Yes. Marianne, as always, it's so great to talk with you. What are the hours of operation?
Sure. We're open 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center, 10 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center, next to Chappie's Deli, 8163 Vaughn Road in Montgomery. Thanks very much, Marianne. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too.
Okay, back at it here. Wow, already past the top of the hour here on a Friday, moving fast here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. That's where we're located here at Alabama's #1 CDJR dealership, largest volume Ram dealer in Northwest Florida and the state of Alabama. And you can get incredible deals. And Barry, once again, you know, Stivers prides themselves on having a lot of vehicles on the lot. They pride themselves with their service, their selection, their prices. Their sales associates are the best in the business, but they have a lot for you to choose from. Their inventory is phenomenal. And that's the case here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. Your Ram truck is here. 1,500 Laramies up to 17 grand off plus 3.9% APR. You need something a little bit more durable, a little bit more, a bigger version of the Ram. They have the 25 and 3,500 diesel models at 14 grand off. And the Jeep lineup, Barry, is phenomenal. Jeep Grand Cherokees up to 17 grand off for 0% for 72 months. All right, I'll give you the nuts and bolts about what happened since I brought it up.
John, in the last segment, in case you're just joining us live for the second hour, we were talking about everything that's involved in the pre-draft run-up to the NFL draft. You know, you got the combine, you got pro days, you've got the Wonderlic tests, and you've got private workouts, you've got tons and tons and tons of video, you've got private interviews with every coach and personnel director and team psychologist that you can imagine. A lot goes into it. You can have a $10 million body, but if you have a 10-cent head, you will find it difficult to be drafted where you want to. And John, in the last segment, got a little bit philosophical and told a story about one time when he was in a job interview. And upon reflection, it's like, John, after several exams in college, you sit there and think, boy, did I blow that?
Yeah. You know, at the time, when I walked out, I kind of didn't feel like I'd blown it. I just kind of told them how I felt, what I was wanting to do.
Right.
Like I said, a week later, when I wasn't getting any correspondence from them, I knew that, that was not good. It took me a minute to figure that out, but when I did, I knew I had made a bad mistake. And here's where it all started. When I was in college, it started long before I was in college, but Delta Airlines had a program where college students could work for them in the summers out on the ramp. And I'm sure there were other areas that you could work, but I worked here in Montgomery when the mainline Delta was still flying into MGM. This was before regional carriers and stuff. So we had 727s and DC-9s and 737s coming into Montgomery.
Now, when you say out on the ramp, you're not talking about Rena at
No. I'm talking about baggage handling, cabin service, refueling the aircraft.
I got you now.
So we were out there, and someone I knew that was older than me had done it years prior to that. And I thought, man, I want to do that in the summer when I'm in college. So I got a couple of opportunities to do it when I was in college during the summers, and I loved it, man. I had my uniform, I had my Delta logo, the hat had steel-toed boots that I had to wear, and was working here in Montgomery. And I loved it. I mean, yeah, it was manual labor, but hey, what young college kids shouldn't be doing that? We're, stacking bags. Yeah, stacking bags in the plane, taking them out, taking them to the baggage carousel, cleaning the planes out that would stay overnight here in Montgomery. I even worked my way up there, which I thought was amazing. I would drive the fuel truck out, chalk it up, ground it, hook the hose up underneath the wing. The pilot had specified how many thousands of pounds of fuel he wanted. I was told numerous times, make sure you do not overfill this airplane. You can underfill it because we can always put more in, but don't overfill it because that pilot will be some kind of mad because he's getting those weights and balances together.
And stuff.
Do not overfill it. But I thought, here I am, a 21, 22-year-old kid. I'm filling up a multi-million-dollar airplane. I thought that was so cool. And I had opportunities to do that. The only thing I couldn't do, Barry, I thought this was interesting. I could fuel the plane, but I couldn't be the guy with the sticks guiding the plane to park. I could not do that. I thought I can fill it up, but I can't guide the plane into the jet plane.
That would be a sucky job if you ask me. I don't know anything at all about it, but I remember we were flying into, where were we? This past year. Oh, we were going to Milwaukee for the NCAA tournament. And it was raining to beat the band when our charter landed. Of course, came out of Montgomery Regional Airport. And that poor guy was sitting out there on a folding chair in the rain at the end of the little entryway over to our hangar. And he gets out and he does this number and everything like that. Anyway, so
let me ask you this. Who do you think got to be in the belly of the plane, and who do you think was at the end of the conveyor belt getting the bag, putting it on the back luggage cart when it was raining?
A difficult job.
The young one, the new guy. I was in the rain. The veterans were in the belly of the plane, which I get that.
Yes.
So did that a couple of summers, thought it was great, just loved it. When it came to the 4th of July, I was working because they were paying like double time and a half or something like that. As a college kid, I thought, this is great.
This is great.
So I get to, my senior year of college, known as my 4th year in college.
Right.
And all my buddies are getting jobs. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. I think, I love the airlines. I grew up loving the airlines. I think this is great.
Sure.
So I applied I wanted to work for Delta Airlines, but I wanted to work in the airport. I wanted to be like one of those red coat guys you see that directs people to their proper gate or helps them out when they need a little. And I thought, man, I'm a former Rush chairman. I'm good around people. That'd be perfect for me. I could
handle those Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I could buddy him to death. I mean, it'd be awesome.
No doubt.
So I get the interview. I'm thinking, man, this is great. I've worked for this company before. I've got a track record. They know who I am somehow. But I had to go to Atlanta for this interview. So I go to the corporate headquarters. I'm so fired up, dressed, look nice, shaved, cut my hair, whole deal.
Nice.
And I go in there and the interview starts. And I will say this, the guy that's interviewing me, Barry, Tennessee fan, got a lot of Tennessee memorabilia on his bookshelf. Never forget that.
Now, just to give you an idea of the job John is applying for, this is kind of what it is, like in Airplane. He's a guy with a squeegee up front with Captain Over.
It was, yeah.
I mean, that's John in the middle with the squeegee. And
we never cleaned the exterior of the plane. It was always the interior. That last flight of the night, we were in Montgomery, the seat back pockets. Back then people smoked on planes. You had to dump out the ashtrays. We had a little hokey machine that would clean the aisles, the brooms and stuff, get the peanuts off the floor, all that kind of stuff.
So it sounds like a job, unlike Dion when he got the job interview with the Giants, sounded like a job you were interested in. You really wanted, you were
love the smell of jet fuel in the morning, Barry.
Oh, that's it's
awesome.
That's a reference to oh my gosh, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall,
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
Yes. So anyway, I felt, man, I got some history with Delta. I've got some, they've got to train me, but I want to move up. Went to the interview. We're talking the whole deal. He's even asking when I can start, blah, blah, blah. And he wants
It's going great.
Yeah. he goes, well, I tell you what, I think we've got some ramp positions. We want to start you out on the ramp. And I'm thinking, ramp. But in my mind, I'm thinking, what I should have thought was, man, I'm dealing with bigger planes, more frequency. I mean, obviously the frequency at Montgomery isn't what it is in Atlanta. I mean, you're always doing something. And there was a little downtime in Montgomery in between flights, which was fine.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, this isn't what I want to do. And I told the guy, I didn't go to college to work on the ramp. I'll never forget saying that. Never.
Was there a facial reaction?
I think I shocked him.
From him? Was he like?
I think I shocked him. None of these, eyebrows went up or the eyes got big. Like, what did you just say? I just told him that's really not what I'd come over here for. I wanted to work in the airport, in the terminal. I felt like I was better suited to work with people. He didn't like that answer.
No.
The irony of it, Barry, at the time, my first wife was figuring out what she wanted to do. And maybe even before I'd had this interview, I'd mentioned to her, well, why don't you apply to be a flight attendant? She had never thought about it. She applies, gets the interview. She has to leave school 2 weeks before school is even over to go to flight attendant training. Now, love her to death, love of my life, got married, had 2 children together. And unfortunately, she passed away unexpectedly. But when she got that job, Barry, honey, I'm so happy for you, which I was, but I was a little jealous. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm the one that wanted to work for him.
I'm the one who was totally fine with having to miss class. I've been doing it my whole career.
Wait a minute. She just out of the blues fills out an application, sends it in, doesn't think much above it. Boom, gets a letter. Can you be here on this day for an interview? Gets the interview. They call her back 3 days later. Can you be here on this day to start training? She says, well, I'm not finished with school yet. They said, you want the job or not? Boom, went over there, finished her degree through the summer and graduated, got the job. I'll never forget her hire date was May 29th, 1987. Never forget that.
I got to tell you, and no offense, but obviously I knew Jackie. Not surprised she aced the interview and got the opportunity. That shocks me like not one bit.
But I didn't tell her that, Barry. I
Very
think she knew that I was kind of like, wow, honey, I'm so happy for you. I wanted that job.
It's great, really.
So I learned a life
That's
lesson.
awesome, honey.
She got the job. She interviewed properly. I did not. And I think some of these NFL players are not interviewing properly. Take it from somebody that knows.
They are thinking about giving you a contract in the NFL worth tens of millions of dollars. Now, I've been in broadcasting my whole career. It's all I've ever done. If somebody came up to me early in my career and said, Barry, we are thinking about giving you a contract to do something for tens of millions of dollars. We want to interview you first. You talk about walking out of there with this big brown spot on the end of my nose. That would be me. I promise you. But it's different nowadays.
Yeah,
you know, I do a lot of stuff for Troy. A lot of times when I'm doing, like I did the honors convocation, I hosted that this past Monday. And I wore a tux. I got to wear a tux tomorrow night at the Hall of Fame banquet. I got to wear a tux later on, something else on it. But a lot of times I'm wearing a tie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got a Troy tie, lapel pin suit, and the whole deal for some of these events. And I was talking to Dee last night while we're watching. I'm thinking, Goodell doesn't even have a tie on, and it's the dadgum NFL draft. He's out there. He's got a Oxford shirt on, open collar, and the players, somebody said, how about some of those god-awful suits? Yeah. Travis Hunter, I don't have a suit like that. The salmon-colored suit, no.
What were the designs on Milroe's suit? Were those question marks like the Riddler?
What were those dollar signs?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that was.
Well, maybe they were little pass patterns. Although he probably wouldn't have recognized those.
Wow.
Well, anyway,
Woo.
so that's the NFL draft. Today's the second day.
Will Milroe go today?
I don't think he will.
You look, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, and I hope the kid gets picked today and he has a great NFL career, and I'm wrong.
He really does. I mean, none of this is personal.
No, but I said it months ago, and people thought I was crazy. I said, this guy's not going till the third round. He is not a top-flight quarterback. People thought I was crazy.
People said, John.
Maybe Cleveland picks him first tonight. Who knows? But he was proven that he's not a first-round draft pick. I felt that long ago. How hot did he get on the tarmac? That's another name for the ramp. The tarmac, the ramp. A lot of these words.
Well, I know what the tarmac is. I thought the ramp was just a little jetway to get you in.
No, they call it the ramp.
Okay.
Sometimes you're on a plane. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay seated until the pilot has us parked on the ramp. You'll hear that from time to time from the flight attendants. Believe me, I know all the flight attendant logo, the forward, mid, and aft sections of the cabin.
Yeah. John would have to put on the little thing, and he'd inflate the inflatable vest, and a little duck would come out. Duck head would come off.
I will say this: when Jackie was a flight attendant for 15 years for Delta, as her spouse, I got to fly free. I took advantage of it.
A lot. I remember that.
I took advantage of it a ton.
Where are you?
Yeah, it was a great perk, and wow, it was great. But the airline business was a lot different back then than it is today, unfortunately. So, all right, we're here at Stivers. Dennis, is that good enough for you? Was that a good, thorough explanation?
That's a good story.
You know it all now, Dennis. So thanks for asking.
A little bit later on, not too far from now, the Phantoms dog of the day. Yesterday, there were 3 games. Phantom told you about those.
Correct.
In the NBA, in the playoffs. Something happened yesterday in the playoffs that has never happened before.
Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
We'll tell you about that.
Also, get the box scores ready, Barry. If you can pull those up when we get back as well.
Okay.
I'm trying to see. I think we need to explain to our viewers and listeners how a particular game played out in terms of quarter-by-quarter scoring. We'll get into that in just a moment. Live here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, where Price sells cars and trucks.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Well,
hang on. Give it a moment. And we'll keep it right here.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah.
Let's do
here
that.
on a Friday, 18 minutes past the hour. Okay, you brought it up. I've been kind of, I don't know. I'm showing my hand if I do this, Barry. I'm kind of itching to get to this section of the show. Does that give it away? Probably so. Last night,
yes,
the Phantoms Daily Dog.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Was in the National Basketball Association. There were 3 games last night, and I caught a piece of just about every one of them, even the late one. Sometimes I've been known to catch the late one. But we're talking about a game in particular that took place in Memphis last night.
Well, it was a tale of 2 games.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
The Grizzlies were hosting the Thunder.
Okay.
The Grizzlies are the 8th seed. The Thunder, of course, had the best record in the NBA. And in their last game, they won by like 50 or something. Thunder was up 2-0 playing in Memphis. And the line was something like 9.5.
10.5.
10.5
Mm-hmm.
in favor of the Thunder, as you might imagine.
Yep.
In the first half of that game in Memphis, the Grizzlies led by 29 points.
Home team up by 29 points.
Yes, in the first half,
okay,
at halftime. And here's the bad thing. The star for the Grizzlies is Ja Morant.
Spells it
J-A.
yeah.
Ja Morant.
Yep.
Grizzlies were up late in the second quarter, and Morant hurt his hip. Hard foul by Lou Dort. So later on, it was said it was a hip injury. Ja Morant is out late in the second quarter with his team at that point up 27. Their lead at one time in the first half was at 29.
Okay.
Did not play in the second half. Here come the Grizzlies.
Here come the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies, the second largest comeback in NBA playoff history. The Thunder wins by 6.
They win by 6, Barry.
114 to 108. The Memphis Grizzlies, an NBA team with a 29-point lead, they scored 77 points in the first half. They scored 31.
How does that happen?
In the second
Well,
half.
Barry, it's a cruel game.
Cruel.
It is a cruel game. And maybe this sounds, if you're a Memphis Grizzlies fan, maybe this sounds cruel. But I'm not really a Memphis Grizzlies fan. Glad they got an NBA franchise. That's great.
Sure.
I'm more worried, can they cover the spread for me? And I know it's embarrassing at home, got close to a 30-point lead.
As Ty said, they led by double digits well into the third quarter.
Yeah. You're thinking, what happened? Who turned the switch off? I hate it for them. But, Barry, if the Grizzlies were not going to cover for me last night, which they did, I would have hoped they would have lost by 40.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
They did cover.
They covered the spread.
10.5, and Oklahoma City wins by 6.
Yeah. So they
I was not even following that.
They choke away this huge home lead. How do you think the home crowd felt as they watched that lead just, they get all high and they're excited. They get this big league, and then OKC just starts chipping away. You're kind of squirming in your seat. Kind of reminds me of the 2010 Iron Bowl, Barry. Woo! Wow. That was that was a tough one. But
so if you're not going to cover for me,
yeah.
If Cam's going to lead a comeback, I hope he pulls it off.
Yeah.
And he did.
I'm with you. So we win last night, Barry. We get a win. So you want to know about tonight. 6 p.m. ESPN. Obviously, ESPN's not covered the draft tonight. And I think this is the night, Barry. This caught my attention. One of the games tonight is on ESPN U, an NBA game. I thought that was a channel for college sports. Yeah, the Indiana-Milwaukee game from Milwaukee's on ESPN U tonight. But we are going to look at a game, Barry, that is on ESPN at 6 p.m. tonight, where the Celtics are at the Magic. Boston at Orlando.
Celtics lead the series 2-0.
Important. They might lead at 3 when this game's over. The Celtics could be up 3-0 after tonight. Okay. But will they be up 3-0 covering the 5 points? We don't think so. We think the Magic at home down 2-0, reach down deep tonight, at least cover the game for us as they host the Celtics. We like the Magic +5 at home tonight, 6 p.m. in the NBA playoffs. And catch it if you're around the TV. You got another triple header. Barry, didn't you mention earlier this week that the NBA ratings are really good, really up?
This is the highest ratings they've had since like 2017 in the first couple rounds. And again, this is with the NBA's best teams being in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Cleveland,
Unbelievable.
Ohio. Go figure.
Can I give you another little story since we're talking about it?
Sure.
I think maybe was this my first NBA game ever? I know I would see the Hawks and the Knicks one time, but I think this was. Alabama was playing in a bowl game in Orlando.
Right.
And my good friends at Total Sports Travel see how long they've been around sending people to great games and sporting events. We went down there with them. This is 30 years ago, I would say. And the Magic were playing at home, I want to say against the Clippers. And we went to the game.
All right.
Shaquille O'Neal was playing for the Magic. got to see Shaq play against the Clippers in whatever arena they played in at that time in Orlando. So I have seen the Magic play in person. I just remember
it was like
that.
the Amway Center.
I think
because
it
the
was.
Magic used to be owned by the guy who founded Amway.
And I got to think, Barry, they've gotten a new arena because we were in a
they-
box. Go figure that one. I was weaseling my way into boxes 30 years ago, but these people took us, so I went with them. But the boxes at this arena, you could tell they did it after the fact. We're at the very top of the arena in a circle, in a ring around the top. You could see the top of the scoreboard that hung over the center court. We were above the scoreboard. So we're looking.
That's when they built an arena. And then a couple of years later,
Yep.
Hey, I see this other arena. They've got skyboxes.
That's
We
right.
don't have skyboxes. Well, can't we just hang a couple around the top of the roof or something?
Kind of like they did the press box at the Superdome. Remember they moved it up?
Yeah.
It used to be.
I've done games up there, and I mean, you can see clouds,
Yeah.
birds flying down there.
It was like on the middle level at the Superdome. They moved it up. Same thing happened. So we're looking at the game straight down. I mean, you can see Shaq, but he's kind of, far away. So, yeah, I saw the Magic play the Clippers. Yeah, there you go. I saw the Clippers play the Hawks in Montgomery.
Kevin Long was the bus driver for Bill Fitch.
He interviewed him. He goes, hey, I'm the sports TV guy and a bus driver.
So he turns around in the bus driver's seat, and Bill Fitch thought he was kidding. Anyway, yeah. You wonder why that game tonight is not on ESPN. Well, they got other stuff. Why is it not on? Why is it on ESPNU?
Yeah.
Well, tonight on ESPN2.
Ooh.
They have got, I kid you not, 6 o'clock tonight, the Savannah Bananas versus the Party Animals. The Savannah Bananas, in case you haven't heard of them before, and I have, they're great. They're basically the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. The Savannah Bananas. They'll dance out there in the infield. They'll throw confetti like a pitch, and everybody's laughing and all that kind of stuff. Savannah Bananas are great.
Very funny.
And ESPN, who is evidently not doing a very good job covering Major League Baseball, is covering, for lack of a better word, gimmick baseball, because I love them. I don't know who the Party Animals are. They're probably like the Washington Generals or something like that. But it's the Savannah Bananas versus the Party Animals on ESPN2. That'll be on Saturday night, not tonight. That'll be tomorrow night. John, they're playing tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, ESPN2 in exhibition baseball, Bananas versus the Party Animals. And a sellout crowd is expected at Clemson's 81,500 seat Memorial Stadium at Death Valley.
Now, they're putting a baseball diamond inside Memorial Stadium.
Evidently so. 81,000 tickets will be sold.
And they've played here at Riverwalk.
They have.
Yeah.
They have.
Man, that's impressive.
Yep.
That's very impressive. All right, Gurn Jr. tells us he's ready to go. He was putting some film clips together for us. I mean,
I like it.
It's hard to multitask. I get it. Believe me, I know.
Uh-huh.
So I think Gurn's ready. We're going to get to that in a moment, though. I do know we need to take a quick break. Let's do that.
Yep.
We'll get recalibrated, as they say. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Very important. You never miss any content from Longshore McKnight and our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com.
It's Longshore and McKnight from Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Prattville, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times await. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Okay, back at it here, about 29 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to get to the Victoryland 777 topic wheel here in just a moment. But Barry, we're very pleased to welcome in a guest on the program. Her name is Rachel Johannes, and she is with the personal caregiving and nursing services. It is Home RN. Rachel joins us here today because we wanted our audience, our viewers, and our listeners to know just how important of a subject and a service that they provide. We wanted our audience to know about it.
Hey there,
Good
Rachel.
morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's open up by just defining exactly what Home RN concierge caregiver service. What does all that mean, Rachel?
Sure. So Home RN is a concierge caregiving and skilled nursing service, and we also provide in-home IV therapy and urgent care visits. So on our caregiving and nursing side, that looks like taking care of whether it is somebody that maybe has a permanent disability, a temporary disability, maybe they're post-op, and they can't live independently. So they'll have caregivers or nurses come into their homes and take care of them, prepare them meals, administer medications, etc. And then on our IV and urgent care side, that could be anyone that's just not feeling well, needs a boost of hydration, maybe needs an antibiotic called in for strep or the flu. So our goal is to bring care to you where you are and make it convenient so you can stay at home and feel better.
You know, Rachel, what I find so important about what you do and your company does is I'm sure there's a few people out there that don't have to experience something like this, but I think there's a large part of our society that has a parent, a friend, a relative, whomever it may be, that needs help and care and services like this. You know, whether it's just, companionship or preparing meals or administering medication, so many things that you provide. I just think this hits home with a lot of people that watch us, that listen to us, that just, in this country that need this type of help.
Absolutely. And especially for families who maybe their adult children live out of town and your parents are in a different city. And so it's nice to know that you have both a nurse and a team of caregivers that can make sure that your parents are well and also well taken care of.
Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong. And again, Home RN in Auburn, in Montgomery, the premier private pay home care service out there. It doesn't sound like Home RN provides just cookie cutter. This is what we do. You tailor every program to each individual client, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we focus on quality, not quantity. We have a smaller group of clients so that we can really get to know them, curate their caregiving team, communicate with our families, remember everyone's birthdays, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're focusing on that concierge aspect, and that nothing is automated. When you call us, you're going to get someone on the phone. We have a nurse available 24/7 to support you and make sure that, like I said, if you're out of town, your parents are well cared for.
You know, Rachel, this kind of hits home with me. My mother is 92 years old, still lives by herself, lives right behind me. My sister's a block away. My brother's not too far away either. And so we always rotate and checking on her, going by and see her. I live the closest, so I probably pop in more than the others just because of where I am.
Right.
But we do know there's a day she's probably going to need a little bit more help. I mean, at 92, we're still blown away that she can do what she can do. But there again, we see what's coming down the road. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that, like we are, we see what's coming down the road. You got to be ready.
You're a caregiver and you didn't even know it. Yes. And the other great thing, we have home RN locations all across the state of Alabama. So if you are listening to this and you live in Auburn and Montgomery, we have an office there. But if you live elsewhere and your parents are in Auburn or Montgomery, you know, we can hook you up all over the state of Alabama and then kind of expanding into the Southeast, South Carolina and Tennessee as well.
Rachel Johannes is joining us from Home RN. You can check them out online, homerncare.com. For people like me who has an elderly parent that lives alone as well, and I'm thinking of, you know, you're thinking about what you might need. You're not really sure exactly what all that entails. If we were to get in touch with you, if any of our listeners and viewers were to get in touch with you, what's the first step? What's the first thing they can expect from you? Just kind of a consultation?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can give us a call. A nurse will come out to your house. We will start out with what's called a concierge visit, where we get to know your family, their home life. We'll do a whole medication history, medical history, and then create a customized plan of care that's then used to train our caregivers one-on-one in that patient's home. So it's very specific, highly trained, highly skilled caregivers and nursing.
It seems like for you and for the people who work there, it takes, and John and I have said this for years, it takes a special kind of human being to be involved in what you do, Rachel. There has to be not only just a high level of expertise and proficiency in the services you're providing, there has to be a whole lot of inborn, innate caring from your people and your professionals about your clients as well.
Absolutely. Caregiving takes, you have to have a heart for it and you have to have a whole lot of empathy and patience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know about that too. Yeah.
Yes.
When mom says, come over here right now and take my trash out.
Yep.
You're on the way.
Ask this, Rachel, because somebody texted me while we were interviewing. They were asking about payment. I mean, is it private pay? Is Medicaid, Medicare involved? Insurance? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's private pay. We bill by the hour for our caregiving services. If any of our clients have long-term care insurance, we will submit their invoices and care notes to their long-term insurance provider, and the long-term insurance company can then reimburse the family.
Rachel Johannes, Home RN at homerncare.com. Is that really the best way for those people who are intrigued and have a need for exactly what you're talking about to get in touch with you and get the process started?
Yeah, so check out our website if you have any additional questions. There's a great FAQ page on there. And then give us a call and we can talk. I know every situation is different. And so just pick up the phone, call us, and we can see what would work best for you.
Oh, fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Great to have you visit with us. We know you're busy. It's great to have you and kind of get the word out here in Montgomery and in Auburn as well. It all sounds wonderful, particularly to people who may be a little bit overworked and overstressed. There is help available out there. And Rachel, we appreciate your time in helping to detail exactly what type of help is out there for them.
Thank you so much. Great to meet y'all. Have a good day.
You
Take
too,
care.
Rachel. Thank you. Outstanding there with Rachel Joannis from Home RN Personal Caregiving. And, Barry, there again, I think there's a lot of people that watch that heard it. They're thinking to themselves, yeah, I'm in that situation. Or I know that's a situation I might be in the future with my parents, relative, loved one, whomever it may be. And they provide a fabulous service.
There's also some people, and how do I put, that are probably in denial.
Yeah.
No, I can do it. I can do it. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it, how I'm going to find time to do it. At least get in touch with them and just find out what's available to give you some help as well. As a caregiver, it's difficult for you, and we understand that, and so do they. Again, homerncare.com. Just a quick visit, maybe a phone call, and just find out that there is help available, even if you don't think you need it and that you've got it, and she raised me and I owe it to her. You owe her the best care.
Yep.
And that may be provided by Home RN Care at homerncare.com. We'll take a break right here. Yes, Gurn, that 777, Chrissy's 777 Gurn Jr. Topic wheel. Yeah, it's loaded up.
Yeah,
we are live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Ford announces employee pricing on every new 24 and most new 25 Fords, and only at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, up to $5,000 below employee pricing, plus no payments for 90 days. From America, for America, at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, home of America's best-selling truck for nearly 50 years in a row, the F-150, with hundreds to choose from. The Ford Escape, the Ford Edge, and the Ford Bronco, all priced at thousands below invoice. And pack up the crew in a Ford Expedition or a Ford Explorer for the beach, the lake, or the big game. It's all at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21.
Okay, back at it here with about 18 minutes to go until the top of the hour. We're live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road, where price sells cars. Come by anytime today or throughout the weekend for incredible deals. Get toward the end of the month. We always tell you advantage car buyer when that happens. That time of the month rolls around. But very great deals. And we're at Alabama's #1 CDJR dealership. Think about that. In Northwest Florida and Alabama's #1 volume Ram dealer. Why do they get these awards?
Alabama.
How do they get them? Because they're able to sell vehicles at prices the customers absolutely can't turn down.
How about that? Doesn't make sense. It makes great sense, doesn't it make great sense that they sell fabulous vehicles at low prices, and they sell a lot of them, and they've got a lot of them on the lot. I don't know why everybody else doesn't do it. You go to other car dealers. We know you do, just because you're thinking, well, I can find out. Maybe John and Barry, maybe they don't know about this dealership. I want to check out this guy. And you look and you're thinking, they don't have the car I want. The cars they do have are way overpriced.
Sure.
And man, they're not willing to work with.
Here's a good way to do it, Barry. We tell our listeners and viewers this a lot. As you're driving around the river region, or really outside the river region for that matter, and you pull up to a stoplight or a stop sign, wherever, look at the cars around you and look how many of them have the little Stiver sticker on the back tailgate or the back left part of the trunk, or maybe they have a Stiver's tag up on the front of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because there's so many satisfied customers in the river region and beyond that purchased their vehicles from Stivers because they got the make and model they wanted at a price they could afford. They want you to leave the dealership as happy today, and they want you to be happy months and months and months down the line as well. And that's what it's all about. Getting the vehicle that you want at a price that you can afford, that fits your budget, and go through a sales process that isn't, taking all day and they're going back and forth. They understand that. They're going to work with you. And there's a lot of satisfied customers that know what I'm talking about.
A lot of them. Ask a few of them. Ask us. We have been Stivers customers for a long, long time. We've also been fans of Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Can I throw this in here just before we get to the wheel? I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't know if you can pull this up on your screen, Barry. I'm looking at the Major League Baseball updated standings as of this very moment, and I'm looking in the National League Eastern Division. Is that the Atlanta Braves in the absolute bottom of the Eastern Division in the National League?
By only a half game. Come on, give the whole story. They're 7.5 games out of first place. Yes, I know they've only played 24.
Yeah.
And they're already 7.5 back. But the Nationals are 7 back. Heck, the Braves are only 2.5 games out of second. It's true. They're in dead last. It's true. They have the least number of wins in the National League for any team not named the
Colorado Rockies,
who are 4-20.
How are they that bad? Well, Barry, they're playing an Arizona Diamondback squad this weekend who is actually just right above the Colorado Rockies, but they've won 14 games this year. The Diamondbacks have 10 more than the Rockies have. They're only 3 games out of first place in the National League Western Division, but man, the Braves they played a lot of Western Division teams, the Padres and the Dodgers already. Now they're taking on Arizona. The Diamondbacks on the road.
8:40 tonight. Chris Sale, the National League Cy Young Award winner last year for the Braves. He's 0-2 with an ERA over 6. Of course. It's been that kind.
Well, here's the question. Will the Atlanta Braves get out of this slump they're in? I don't think Braves fans were expecting them to be in the cellar of the National League Eastern Division. Maybe the Diamondbacks are what the Braves need to move on up the
when
standings
they get
there.
Acuna back, when Strider's healthy, and when Profar is off that 80 game, that
80,
long suspension,
half the season,
then you just watch out.
Yeah.
All
okay.
right.
We'll see.
Topic wheel.
Let's do it.
Sees Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
No wonder Gurn's been busy. Look at this. This wheel's
6
loaded.
of them. Here we go.
Gurn, spin the wheel. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
I hate it when he says
and
that.
It's going to be, I think this has to do with a jersey. Kobe Bryant.
It is true. Kobe Bryant has his jersey has sold. It was the second most highly expensive jersey. His very first game-worn jersey sold at Sotheby's for $7 million, making it the second most expensive piece of NBA memorabilia ever sold. The most expensive, 1998, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. When MJ had already won a bucket load of NBA championships. Michael Jordan's jersey from Game 1 of the 98 NBA Finals, some goob, some guy with more dollars than sense, spent $10.1 million to have a piece of cloth that was once perspired upon by Michael Jordan Kobe Bryant's first ever game-worn NBA jersey when he made his debut at 18 years old out of Lower Merion, Pennsylvania. Sold at Sotheby's, $7 million.
You know, Barry,
dollars.
People that are into sports, memorabilia, paraphernalia, they'll do stuff like that. I've got a cocktail napkin signed by Harry Carey that my father got Harry to sign, and I still got it. And the hotel logo's on it, and Harry Carey's signature is on it.
Noted baseball fan John Longshore, noted Cubs fan.
Who was that baseball I got that New York Yankee player, a friend of mine gave me? He was on a film shoot for a commercial. Don Mattingly.
He's a buddy of yours.
Yeah, not him, but the guy that was filming the commercial that Mattingly was in. Got a signed baseball, gave it to me. And speaking of airline flight attendant stuff,
stay with. Hang on.
Yeah, the pitcher for the Braves. Not Maddox, not Glavine. Tom Glavine was on her flight back when you had a cardboard boarding pass. It wasn't on your phone. She did not rip it, kept it intact, got him to sign the boarding pass. Tom Glavine.
Gave it to you?
Gave it to me. I gave it to my nephew.
I was about to say.
Gave it to my nephew.
Save that story, Gurn, and cue us on Monday when we talk to the Moneyline magician, Josh Harris, who deals in collectibles, mostly baseball cards.
Correct.
Figure out whether or not there is a $7 million value for Kobe Bryant's first game-worn NBA jersey. Okay, there's one in.
There you have.
All right, what else we got?
Let's go with the wheel again. Hey, Dr. B's chimed in today. Glad to see you.
Dr. B once interviewed in a tux.
Woo! Okay. All right, we have the wheel stuck. What's going on?
There you go. All right, now, getting that thing moving.
Yeah, put a little WD-40 on it. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Victoryland exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. Bloody beautiful. No.
Okay, hang on.
Here we go. What we got?
Kristaps Porzingis, NBA star who's about 7'3".
All right. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He took an elbow to the head.
Ooh.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going through his hairline. Gross.
You want to know why I like the Magic tonight? That happens, Barry.
Well, he's 7'3". How many people can get an elbow? Yeah.
Ooh.
There you
go. Wow. I didn't look intentional.
Well, no, but it's still bleeding.
Yeah, everybody's fine. And the guy wears a good number too, Barry. Look at that.
Number 8.
Yeah, look at that. What they call? Do you like the sponsorship on the ref's uniform?
I do. It's fine. Sometimes I think it needs to be like Bausch and Lomb.
Do you
like
some? Do you like non-American airlines being able to advertise on NBA officials' uniforms and on the court? That's that's Emeritus over there, United Arab Emeritus or whatever. UAE.
Emirates. Oh,
Emirates.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're big. They're making a ton of money. I don't know. I don't know if I want officials having ads on their gear. I don't know. I hope the guy's okay.
He's all right. He ended up playing. Had one of those big old bandages.
Did he need stitches?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to find that out.
All
right. Here we go.
I'll show you the scar on my head, Barry. Sometimes you can still see the scar. I had stitches up there as a kid.
All right. This is high stick.
I don't know why they penalize people.
Alexa, you have lost 3 teeth and chipped several others.
Sweet.
Yeah. He says they're at home under his pillow.
Now, don't hockey players wear mouthpieces as well? And a helmet with a face guard?
Man, back in the olden days, you didn't.
Yeah.
And
remember the Hanson triplets and Slapshot? They had dentures. They just take them out.
Yeah.
They take their dentures. That was a great movie. That movie did not get enough run. Yes. Slapshot with Paul Newman.
Yeah, with the Hanson brothers. Great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Chris the Bammer flew Emirates? Wow.
Beautiful young attendants. Okay.
Nice.
That's the most important thing.
Well, I mean,
if you have a bad safety record, at least
it makes the flight more enjoyable when you got. I mean, I don't want to say anything, Barry, but I kind of wonder how so. I'm not even gonna. Cannot because we're not on like radio or anything. I guess I can't say it. Back in the day, you had to meet a weight restriction. I'm just saying.
If you were heavier than a certain amount,
They fired you.
They'd have you working the ticket counter.
Yeah.
Or something.
They tell you need to drop 3 or 4. They'd let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not today. I'm wondering if this plane's going down, is that person going to get me out? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me somebody sturdy. Give me somebody stocky who can lift. Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, when she's got to take the beverage cart down the aisle, and she's got to turn sideways to make it down the aisle.
Inappropriate.
That's not a good look. I'm not feeling good about it. All right, let's spin the wheel yet again. Man, some blood and guts here early on the
there
wheel
we go.
today.
Yeah, teeth missing, blood running through your hair.
Yeah, sports as it used to be.
Yeah, that's doggy.
Now, wait a minute. Was Snoop doing something? Oh, more hockey. Capitals undefeated. Ooh, okay.
Oh, Brandon Duhame started eating the lineup card pregame. His nickname is Doggy.
Is he looking for some roughage?
Why would he do that?
I don't know. I think Brand Flakes will do that.
He plays for the Capitals. They're undefeated in the playoffs since he ate the lineup card.
Oh.
It doesn't hurt that you've also got Alex Ovechkin there. They have a 2-0 lead over the Canadiens in their playoff. He's a forward. He's the guy who delivers hits, punches opposing players in the face, those kind of guys. Yeah. Before every game, and his nickname, Brandon Duhame, his nickname is Doggy. On social media, the Capitals, at Capitals, posted on X, yeah, Doggy. And they actually have the video of him eating the lineup card in the locker room.
I've got to make it a point, man. We mentioned this earlier in the week. My oldest daughter's been to a Capitals game. She lives in D.C. I'm going to have to work my schedule. So I've never been to an NHL game. I think I'm going to have to take one in.
I've been to one. It was a spectacle. He did it in the locker room. Yeah, there he is. He said, let's eat, y'all. There he is.
These hockey guys, it's a different breed. Can you ice skate?
No. I've only done it once, and that was when I was a camp counselor in North Carolina when I was in college.
You got to kind of build your into it. I mean, you do it once a day, it kind of hurts the ankles. And, it's not that. Yeah, it's
all right, here we go.
What's
Fire
next?
them up. We're coming down the stretch here.
Man, these been some good ones today.
That's a good job from Gurn. I like it.
I mean, kind of some off-the-wall stuff. He's keeping us on our toes.
All right.
All right, spin it yet again. 2 more categories. It is the Victoryland 777 topic wheel where you can be a winner too. Open 24/7, exit 22 off 85 Shoulder, Alabama. Not confusion, but contusion.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler has that groin contusion we talked about yesterday.
Yep.
I had to wipe my eyes.
That was tough.
Yep. Had a groin contusion in game 2 for the Warriors. May not be able to play.
Yep, they play in
game
Houston,
3.
Barry, and I believe this game is in Golden State. The Warriors are down 0-2 to the Rockets, and they're playing again in their 3rd playoff game.
Ice, compression, elevation, and rest. He's going to have to rest his groin, which sometimes in the NBA, that's more of an off-the-court deal than on the court.
They play tomorrow, 7:30 on ESPN. Golden State 2.5-point favorite against the Rockets. Series tied 1 apiece.
Do you pack ice on your groin?
But hey.
And for how long?
Barry, I think I'd rather do that than get the atomic bomb near it.
We'll have to have that for another day.
You think that atomic bomb's going to help your groin, and I don't know if it's just, you're getting the blow dryer out and hitting cold to get that problem solved.
Man,
that is not. I think you just have to gut it out. There's no ice or bomb there.
Finally.
Hey, Robbie's up.
Yep, Robbie has been Team Jackson Dart. Robbie checks in on the chat line, and he said this is totally misspelled. Dan Oriolovsky.
Close enough,
He means Orlovsky. Said Jackson Dart played great for 56 to 58 minutes against LSU in Florida. He didn't get much help in key moments. Steelers did the right thing getting the Oregon defensive tackle. Jackson Dart goes to the New York Giants.
Spin it, Gurn, to make it
time.
official, because I want to know what's going on in the sports calendar. for the Troy Trojans this weekend. No, Barry's going to be busy. I know there's not only games, but there's banquets as well.
That's exactly right. Trojans open up a 3-game series. Troy, number 15 in the latest polls, are ranked in all of them. Number 15 team in the country. They play tonight at home at Riddle Pace Field against Texas State at 6 o'clock. The first 200 students will receive free pizza and soft drinks, courtesy of Coach Skylar Mead. Tomorrow, like John mentioned, it's a kind of a doubleheader deal. 1 o'clock game. It's normally at 3:33. They play it at 1 o'clock tomorrow in game 2 of this series, because tomorrow night is the Troy University Sports Hall of Fame banquet at Trojan Arena at 7 o'clock. I'll be the MC again. I've done it every year. There are still tickets available. Oh, there might be. I say there are. It's always sold out. If you're interested, Stephen Voss, my buddy, 334-670-3684, 670-3684.
Well, we're here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road, wrapping up today's show. But as always, you can check us out at your convenience anytime on YouTube, Facebook, YellowhammerNews.com. We're on X, Instagram, Spotify. So there's so many ways to check us out. We really appreciate people watching and listening at their convenience. Get a lot of feedback on that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really helps us out a lot with that. And you always get notifications of when we've got something popping up.
Real quickly, as we finish, Jalen Milroe gets drafted today.
Bear, I'm sticking to my guns. I said it 6 months ago. He won't go until the 3rd round. I'm sticking with it. I think he goes in the 3rd round.
I'm not even sure he goes in the 3rd, but he ain't going tonight.
I don't think he's going tonight either.
That's our show for today. Monday, we'll be back at it. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We are at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.